video is going to demonstrate 4 very common scales that is heavily used in Western style music such as rock, blues, and metal. This is also a companion video to the free ebook put out that is for beginning guitar players. So in that ebook, if you got to this video from there is a click here to see a demonstration of this scale after each scale is presented. So if you click on each one of those, like the first one will be taken to the beginning of this video, all the other links in that ebook will take you to where I begin talking about each of the other scales. Or you can just watch all 4 now. So, a scale is a group of specific notes. So the first scale to look at is a pentatonic scale. We're going to start with an A minor pentatonic scale. So, tab on the screen is what I'm playing. So that scale consists of 5 notes. Pentatonic means 5 tones. Penta means 5, tonic means tone, tone also means note. So it is a 5-note scale. The A minor pentatonic has these 5 notes: A, C, D, E, and G. That's it. A, C, D, E, G. So we are playing more than just 5 different places, and that's because these 5 notes continue to repeat at different octaves. So we have A, C, D, E, G, and then higher up we have A, C, D, E, G, and then it starts over again, A, C. So you could just keep going up those same 5 notes anywhere on the fretboard, but the most commonly used scale shape for the A minor pentatonic or minor pentatonic is the one we're looking at here. Now, on the screen is a scale diagram. So basically, it's the same thing as how it was tabbed, but now you're looking at a picture of your guitar neck, and the dots that are marked on the strings, that's telling you what frets to play in order to make the scale shape happen. So it's almost like you're looking at the scale kind of upside down, because on the bottom portion that's your low E string, and then up above is the high E string. So when you look at the dots, you're starting with the low E string, and to see the dot is on the 5 and 8. So then you go 5, 8. And then we're only doing 2 notes per string, so we go up to the A string, and on that scale diagram it says 5, 7, 5, 7. And then it goes up to the D string, same 2 frets, 5, 7. Then up to the G string it says 5, 7. We go up to the B string, it says 5, 8. And then up to the high E string, it also says 5, 8. And then it's good to practice the scale going backwards as well. So if we read it backwards, we start at the high E string and we go 8, 5. We go down to the B string, 8, 5. Down to the G string, 7, 5. Down to the D string, 7, 5. Down to the A string, 7, 5. Down to the E string, the low E, 8, 5. And that's how you read a scale sheet or a scale diagram. I really like to call these scale shapes because the shape itself is movable. So you could take that shape and move it anywhere. So, for example, if you played that A minor pentatonic shape, but then you wanted to play in G minor, you're starting on A. So basically, what the root note is, you start on that root note. For this example, it's A, and then you play that pentatonic pattern. So if you want to play in G minor, we start on G, which would be the 3rd fret on the low E, and we play the pentatonic pattern. Same exact pattern, just move down 2 frets. So let's say we want to play in F minor. We move down to the 1st fret on the low E, that's in F, and we play the same pentatonic pattern. If you want to play higher up in B minor, we start on 7 on the low E, pentatonic pattern. So it's movable. Anywhere you play that shape is a pentatonic pattern. The note that you started on will be the root note of that pentatonic scale. So anywhere, and so on. And that's the same for every scale shape there is. Any scale shape you play is movable. You can start it anywhere you want. It does change the key you're in, and a key is, like a scale, a specific group of notes that you're playing within. But more on that in a different video. Okay, so let's get into what you can do with this scale. So, playing in that minor pentatonic shape, you're able to make guitar solos or leads. You can also create riffs, whatnot, and even structure chords using it in order to write your own music. But typically, rock music, even metal and blues, uses a pentatonic scale quite often in creating leads. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play just a simple progression into my Ditto X2 looper. I am not being paid to discuss that pedal. I just love it. So if you're looking for a looper, a cheap one is very reliable, I highly recommend the Ditto X2. So, start with progression, and then I'll demonstrate a lead on top of it. Going. I'm going to keep it simple so you can see, for beginners, how you can make it simple and still sound good. You can play any note in any order as many times as you want, and it'll still sound good. So that's just a fairly simple demonstration of what you can do with that minor pentatonic. And for more advanced players, if you know how to do hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, bends, you're more than welcome to throw those in too. You can get as fancy as you want or keep it as simple as you want. If you're new to playing and new to playing leads, I highly recommend playing slow to start with. A lot of players like to jump off, just start playing fast right away. So what I mean by playing slow is let a note ring out for a bit. Listen to how it goes against the other chords. Playing it slow like that and listening to how the notes ring out against the chords trains your ear to know instinctively what sounds good and when. Of course, playing over different kinds of chords will create a different sound, but the more you play lead and the more you play to various backing tracks, the more you will develop your ear. That's something I used to do all the time when I started playing, is I would play lead over anything I could. Most of the time it was listening to Iron Maiden. And instead of playing exactly what the song was, I would make up my own stuff a lot. So this way I could get used to how all those sounds work. In fact, I even, when I was in high school, someone was driving a lawnmower, and it sounded like it was resonating at a C note, so I played a lead over a lawnmower. So anything that you can get your hands on, just listen to backing track wise, even if it's not a backing track. Of course, you'll need to learn how to tell what key something is in, but what I recommend doing, use YouTube to your advantage. It has a ton of free backing tracks to play over. I think every basic key there is, you will find something. There are some exotic scales that I have yet to find any backing tracks for, but for the basic stuff like this, minor pentatonic, perfect. So look up A minor backing tracks or C major backing tracks. So they're actually the same thing for the most part, because the key of A minor uses the same 7 notes as the key of C, which we'll get to in a little bit in this video. So moving on. The next scale we're going to look at is the A minor blues scale. Now, the A minor blues scale is very similar to the minor pentatonic. We're only adding one extra note. So, the minor pentatonic, again, had A, C, D, E, and G. The blues scale adds in a D sharp. So we have A, C, D, D sharp, E, and G. So the scale shape we're going to look at goes like this. So that extra note is commonly called the blues note, which gives it that bluesy sound. So what I'm going to do now is play play a blues progression, an A minor blues progression. And for those of you curious, I'm going to be using the chord A minor, D minor, and E minor for this one. And for that last chord progression, I use an A minor, C major, A minor, and E minor. So, get this chord progression recorded. Demonstrate that scale. Keep it fairly simple, so beginners, you can see how you can keep it simple and it still sounds good. So now I'm going to do a different set of chords that also sound good with the scale. So for that one, if you look up A minor blues backing track, you'll find something similar to that. Now I'm going to do a major chord progression that will still work with our A minor blues progression. So if you look up a C major blues progression, this is basically what I'm doing. And I'm going to see, I'll go between a C major to this type of F and a G chord. So, here we go. Same scale. So same scale over that major chord progression will result in a little bit different sound. Sounds a bit happier that way. So the next scale we're going to look at is the full A minor scale. This is also considered a diatonic scale because it is a 7-tone scale. So the pentatonic had 5 notes. The blues scale had 6 notes. This one is going to have 7. Now, the notes in the pentatonic, again, we had were A, C, D, E, G. The A minor scale is going to add in a B and an F. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it's a pretty easy scale to memorize the note names for because it's just the beginning of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then it starts over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So just like the other 2 scales we've looked at so far, it'll be the same notes repeating at higher octaves. So, when we play this one, you can also use A minor backing tracks or C major backing tracks. And let's get another progression going so I can demonstrate how this one can be used for making up a lead. I start with an A, then I get an F major 7. This is a different type of C chord. Into an E minor, and then back to an A minor chord here. The F major 7, C major, G. I like the minor pentatonic a lot is because you have more options than the pentatonic. However, I do believe it is very good to learn the pentatonic because sometimes it's a good sound to fall back on, and it's also a good start to learning how to play lead. So the next scale we're going to look at is the C major scale. The C major scale has the exact same set of notes that the A minor scale uses. Instead of starting on A, we're going to start on C and cycle through the same 7 notes. So we're going to use a fairly condensed shape for this major scale. So starting on C, we got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So same set of notes. But because we're starting on C, going up and then coming back to C, it's considered a C major scale instead of an A minor scale. So basically, you going between the two. If C is your focus, that's your focal point, you consider that the root note, then you'll call it a C scale. If you keep using A as your start and go, or your start and stop notes, then it's considered an A minor scale. So, when I mentioned before, talking about keys using like the same set of notes before, this is what I was talking about. Using the C major scale is the same as playing in the key of A minor. So that's why if you look up A minor backing tracks or C major backing tracks, you can use either the A minor scale or the C major scale. In fact, most of those tracks you can use definitely the A minor pentatonic, but sometimes the blues scale can be used as well. Technically, the blues scale will not be 100% in key when playing to an A minor or C major backing track because of the blues note. The blues note really isn't being used in most of those chords, and I say most because sometimes a blues progression will have chords that incorporate the blues note. But you can get away with using that blues note out of key to create that blues sound. It's a way to create tension in your playing. So that's why it can be used. The blues scale can be used, let's say, in a key of A minor backing track, even though that particular blues note is not being used in the chords. So anyway, let's use the same progression as last time to demonstrate using the C major scale. So that's demonstrating 4 very commonly used scales in Western style music. Now, if you want, you can combine all 4 of those scales while you are making up your own leads. And when you are making up leads, when you're learning to make or do improvisation, basically make it up as you go. It's really just a matter of hitting the notes within the scale shapes, and you just do that more and more and more until you develop an ear for what sounds good to you, and you begin to develop your own style. Now, if you are reading that ebook that links from, or links to this video, I should say, to it, we go through various techniques and show different riffs that are within the key of C. So if you learn those, you can play those on top of the backing tracks as well. So learning techniques within that are applicable to the scales that are demonstrated in this video. So one last demonstration. I will play one more progression and demonstrate by using all of the scales so far. In fact, you know what, let's just use the same progression. I think that works just fine. So I'm going to go between all 4 scales and get a little bit fancier so you can see how they can be connected. There we go. Alright. So I know it's a lot to take in. So take your time with it. That's what I invite you to do. Take your time with this. Learning how to make your own solos is really a lot of trial and error. Learning other people's riffs and licks that are used within those scale shapes. So learning other people's solos can be helpful. You can apply, as I said before, the technique examples and the riffs and whatnot in that free ebook. I also have other ebooks for sale that you can get at milehighshred.com. There are also tons and tons of free resources online that you can look up for various ideas, and plenty of other good paid programs that you can use. For other beginning guitar players, besides my stuff, I do like Metal Method by Doug Marks, and I've seen and heard really, really good things about justinguitar.com. I believe that's what it is. His stuff, I don't think he does a lot of metal, but he does do a lot of rock, as well as just a really well-rounded approach to just picking up the instrument. So if you are going about this yourself, if you're trying to do it yourself, and you're looking at ebooks, watching videos online, trying courses to just do by yourself at home, I do recommend, after you do one, try another, maybe 2 or 3 different ones, because everyone has their own unique way of approaching how to teach stuff. So sometimes it may be confusing to hear what one instructor says, but then you hear a second instructor say about the same subject, but it's just a little bit different, and then sometimes it's like, aha, it'll click for you. So looking at various sources for the same thing can be beneficial when you are trying to learn this by yourself. I do recommend that if you can, get a one-on-one teacher, because speaking from experience, you know, my instructor, Eric Morrison of Sac Valley Guitar, his instruction just helped me just skyrocket as far as how fast I was able to learn stuff and all the information I was able to pick up. So he definitely was the biggest, most valuable resource of information that I have ever had the privilege of being around. So if you can get an instructor, I highly recommend doing so. If not, just try various courses that you can find online or in stores. So this way you have multiple approaches. So this way you have a vast expanse of knowledge to pick from. If you have any questions about this video or anything music related, please send me an email. I'm happy to help, and thank you for watching.